Alright, freelancers, welcome back. I'm Defeated Rescue, and this is a continuation of the gear showcase, and we are on the Speedy Boy. Decent amount of people hanging out in here. Looks like they're all going over their builds. So, alright, we'll get out there. I always just like admiring how many people are in here and what's going on. Alright, so free play. Let's go back. GM1, no consumables, and start expedition.
Javelin is ready for deployment.
All right.
I'll start a search for abnormal activity in the area, shall I?
All right, you know.
Well, just doing a little warming up. Okay, cool. I think we're good. All right, so we'll kind of talk about the gear real quick. So we are using the Interceptor, and we are going over more of the assault system. So last time we used, what was it? Ooh, actually, I think we were on a different system. I think we were on the strike. Yeah, so we were on the strike system last time, and I switched over to the opposite. But we were using sudden death. So now we're on, just because this is what I've already got on my build, I kind of want to jump over to assault system and kind of show you what I've got here, because I'm going to have to start making builds around other things to kind of showcase them effectively. But since I already had this build, I figured I'd just jump over this. So it's a little out of kind of what the plan was, but same idea. So Raneri's charge. So it's a spark dash, and it combo effect is aura. So whenever I detonate, because it is a detonator, I attain the aura of the primer. And then defeating an enemy recharges gear. Recharges spark dash. I have one charge into it. So I have this one. This is the one I think I showed you last time when we were kind of discussing it. And I actually got a roll on this today, where it's a little bit less overall damage. Where this one was like 225 plus 75 puts it at like what? Like 25 more than what I've got here, because I've only got the 250 here. So, or actually, sorry, 50 damage, gear damage more. But this one has an additional charge on it, and I've kind of been noticing on this, because I always like to play around with these before I make a video, and I'll actually take them into Stronghold and kind of get a good understanding. So that way when I'm talking to you, I already have an idea, and I'm not just kind of finding out with you when we're in there. Because like I said, I don't play all the javelins consistently, and I'm definitely not an Interceptor main. But I think this one's going to work out a lot better for the video. And then the damage it does is about 10,000, so not bad damage. It's got a recharge of 7, which that's a pretty big recharge. Anything over 5, in my opinion, is kind of excessive for the, as you can tell, for like most of the gear here, a lot of it is actually over 7, so it's pretty hardcore. So this is actually not bad for its specific the assault system gears slot. And then I'm kind of I'm actually pairing it with Viper's Bite, which is like almost the exact opposite build we were using before, where we were using the acid grenade, we were using Serpent's Veil as a primer, and then sudden death as a detonator. Where now we're using Viper Bite as a primer and Raneri's charge as the detonator. Pretty much everything else in here is the same as the other build I have, but okay. So enough of that. We'll head over to the dungeon and check it out. If we're lucky, we'll get some brutes there spawned in. If we're really lucky, we might get a Titan, but I'm not going to fight Titan. And we're in GM1, so it wouldn't even be worth the time, to be honest. Alright, so good. We got our brutes, and I'll kind of show you how this works. So what I do is I kind of have to, it's a tracker, it's a tracking gear item. So I don't necessarily, when I say tracking, I mean like it kind of has some aim assist on it. So I don't have to be exact with it. So it has a little, it's not likely to miss. However, right here it says no target found. So that is because I have to really be on the target. So you see how like it lights up red, my reticle lights up red when I'm on them. So then it'll hit them. And then as you can see, it dashes in and does a bit of damage, and it hits both of them. So when it hits them, it's kind of like an explosion in that area, but it doesn't have, because if you look at the description, it doesn't actually create an explosion. It just comes in and hits the target closely. But I guess if they're close enough together, it'll kind of hit both of them. And I didn't prime them, so it was definitely not the priming effect that was causing it. So, but I don't know if you could tell either. Is I got it right back. So this is a little bit of a unique kind of gear piece in how it works, because there's not much that's like it. So with sudden death, we would just kind of like be right there in their face with it and use it. Where with this, it's actually meant to be far away, and I actually will use it a lot when I'm in an arena, especially in the Cataclysm, where I'm trying to take down enemies, and I can shoot across the arena to the enemies on the other side. But even though that sounds pretty cool, which it is, oh, no gear, there are some downsides to it, and we'll go over that in a second. And this is more of something you're going to see when you're going to strongholds with teams, if maybe you're going in solo, that you'll experience. But like I said, we'll talk about that after we kind of demonstrate in GM1 how it does. So we'll go down here, they load it in, and we'll just start picking them off. Yeah. So one hit, pretty good, right? And it's already recharged. I have both my charges right now, so recharge. So GM1, I can just dash around. Here's the thing about this. I don't know if you can tell, like, while I'm doing this, I kind of, right before I start it, I kind of sit there in the air for a second. Let's see if I can find someone. So just pay attention to the beginning of the animation. See how I'm just kind of charging it up and just hanging out there? I am actually vulnerable during that. So that's something to consider. To me, when I first started using it, I was like, okay, it's really nice because you're invincible in this whole charge up, but you are not. You can actually get downed while in that. So I don't know if you guys have been to the Sunken Stronghold, the Undying, the final boss in there. If you are charging this up in their face or even close to them, they can one-shot down you during the animation. So anywhere in the animation, even though you're really fast, you can get stopped. So the way the animation works is you sit up there, you charge it up, and then as you're dashing forward, you're actually doing like a spin, but it's like forward you're doing it. So you're not actually like blinking, which the first few times I did it, that's what I thought was happening, is I blinked straight to the target, almost like I was kind of going the upside down or teleporting through space and time with an interceptor. That is not what's happening. They're just moving so fast that it's hard for my eyes to track. However, this is just kind of fun. Just anything that like recharges itself, I find to be entertaining. Especially when it's instantly downing them. Even with shields, it's instantly downing them. But this is GM1. We all kind of know how that goes. Any Lego Jab isn't going to have a problem with this. And you can do it in the air. You can do it on the ground. I think you can do it in the middle of a dash. Yeah. So I was in the middle of dashing. I was able to dash out of it, or kind of cancel the dash and do it. And it is considered a melee. So if you are using a primer or something that only counts for melee damage, it is melee. And I kicked him right in the middle of the air, so that was cool. And then you can do it up front. The only thing is, if you're up front like this, you're definitely vulnerable. The ideal place to use this is when you're in, I think we're good enough to go to the storm right now, is when you're across the arena and you can just shoot over there real quick and just take them down and just finish them off with whatever. Yeah, one shots the armored enemies. That's actually really good. So, unlike some abilities or gear abilities, I can't get them even though I know they're right here. I can't really hit them through. So I have to pretty much see them or have line of sight on them. Where I know I was showcasing with Bass's art, take them down real quick, is that I could stand behind cover and just keep ticking away at their health. With this, I have to have line of sight. That's why it's saying no target. So here's the thing here, too, is it has kind of an area of effect where I don't have to be exactly on them. But if you're kind of like whipping it around, or if you're using a controller and you don't have high sensitivity, and you're trying to like, they're moving a little bit too quick, you might not be able to hit them, which means they might become unprimed and you could lose them. So. Pretty good though overall. Really good at just taking out enemies in GM1. It was kind of fun doing that. Just shooting all over, getting a charge back, shooting all over, getting a charge back. So we'll go ahead, exit out of this, go back into GM3 and give it another run. Okay. So we'll go down here, let them spawn in, and kind of discuss what the game plan is. Uh-oh. Trying not to aggro you guys, but you're in a hallway. Okay. So while they're spawning in, we'll kind of talk about what the plan is. So pairing this with Karev's, let me take a look at it so I don't mispronounce it. Karev's Talon, which I think one of the tunes is actually named after Karev. And so this is a primer. So the way this build will kind of work, how I'm intending to use it is I'll come in melee with Blades of Warning, get my resistance up to 5 stacks, and then I will prime them and then use my Spark Dash. So I got pretty good charges on both of them, so I should be doing this a lot without having to take cover a whole lot. But we'll use the Spark Dash initially to just kind of get an idea what kind of damage on its own it does. So not bad, it takes about a third of a grunt. And we'll finish him off with another one. So that's pretty good. And we got a shielded enemy right here. Take down their whole shield and takes down about half of their health. So pretty good. That's not bad against the grunts. Although I can only really take out one of them at a time, so that's kind of a shortfall for me, is that it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It does okay damage numbers, but it doesn't do a lot, and it only does it to an individual target. So you can see this guy's like right next to him, and it didn't do anything to him. So okay, so they're primed, and I'll detonate them. I think he died before I got to prime him. Prime him and detonate. Oh, and see, right there I missed, because that's just how it is, unfortunately. If there's a group of enemies, it's not always guaranteed to hit the enemy that you're kind of intending to hit. And even being primed is not fully taking them down, which is kind of a bummer. So we'll get some resistance built up. Oop, I missed. I did it way too early. Okay, nice. So we're really just doing damage control right now, trying to get a lot of these grunts out of here. And they're spawning in as I'm trying to get my resistance, unfortunately. Or build up my resistance. I don't think he was actually primed. Okay, let's back out a little bit. Get our shield back up. They're all just hanging out with their storm. Okay. Go back in and see if we can take out a few more. Oh, I got froze. That's not good. Back out real quick. The ice effect. That was nice. I just took it down on its own. Alright, I need to back out. Both the ranger and the storms are there. Alright, so we'll take out this storm. So against shield, takes out a shield and does a good chunk of damage, about a third. Darn, he keeps freezing me. Right there I kind of ran out of charges, so I gotta wait for a charge to come back before I can actually use it again. I'm gonna have to take some of these guys out because they're gonna do me in. They're taking away my health really badly. Because I'm not detonating combos or killing enemies. I'm not getting charges back. There we go. I got my charges back now. I always feel like there's just more and more enemies the more times I come in here. I gotta take out one of these storms. Alright. Trying to take this one out because this is the ice one. It's a bit more annoying. Alright, let's find the... Oh, here he is. Nice. Ooh. So I took down their shield, took a little bit of damage. They already had some of their damage taken away, but that's from a previous engagement. Not too bad though. It's doing the storm in pretty well. Jeez. Okay, so good to know. They got a frost grenade. Alright, so shield does about 2/3 of shields. That's good. And as far as damage against their armor, oh man, they threw that grenade perfectly. See, that's what I'm talking about. When you're in that animation, you are susceptible to hits and damage. So they froze me in the middle of that animation. Actually, towards the very end of it. Not doing a lot of damage. And they have a lot of resistance, so priming is kind of difficult. Let's see if we can get them on fire. Ooh, that was close. It throws me again. So this build is meant to pretty much constantly get my charge and my health back. So what I would do is come in, I would prime them with that, and then finish the job with this, and then I would get, I think 40% armor back. But because this javelin is making it really hard and they're very resistant to my primes, and I am not resistant to theirs at all, I'm having a little bit of trouble. And they keep doing their ult, like, over and over and over. They must have an ult build. Takes down their shield pretty well. We should be able to finish them off here. Yeah. Okay. So a bit of a spongy build, but not too bad. When I was taking down the grunts, it was doing a pretty good job. So as far as the build goes, or not the build, sorry. As far as Raneri's charge goes, it is the only detonator for that gear slot. So it's kind of like with the Storm and the Assault system. Only detonator. It's just Raneri's charge. So that's kind of why I have this build, because I don't like using the same builds that you see pretty often with a lot of other people. There are definitely better builds out there, and this isn't really trying to showcase the build. It's just trying to showcase if you want to make a different build. Your only other option as far as priming and detonating, your only other option detonating-wise is going to be Raneri's charge. So that's why I kind of wanted to get this one out real quick too, because I know there are a lot better options. It really sounds like somebody's in here. Okay, but as far as checking the boxes, is it efficient, is it viable, and is it fun? As far as being efficient, I'm going to say no to that. It's not efficient. It's hard to target your enemies, and even when I'm right on them, it still won't even hit the one I'm looking at. Even if they're right in my reticle, it still will not attack them. It's just kind of an iffy scenario. I don't know if like the distance has anything to do with it. I feel like there's a sweet spot with like a medium range you need to be, but the other issue with it is even though let's say you do target them and it's going for them, you have an animation you have to go through. So you go through the animation where you stop and kind of charge up, and then you go through the spinning portion, which is pretty quick, and then you actually hit them. So you have to go through all that before you, or after you prime them, and at that point, you've got a long kind of almost charge up for it. We'll just call it the charge up process. So in that time frame, any jab that could be on your fire team that's kind of there with you could detonate that. So when you go through it and you're trying to hit them and they've already been detonated, or let's say that they've been defeated in that time, you will stop mid charge, like right in the spin phase of it, and that's where you'll kind of like just cancel out of it. However, because you're canceling out of it, you've already charged up, so you've already consumed one of the charges. So it's not very efficient. It's kind of like you're trying to fight against your teammates to get to the, because if you don't detonate that combo and kill them, you won't get a charge back. So now you're out a whole charge. So if you don't have a lot of charges on this, it becomes very inefficient very fast. It actually becomes very unusable. So that's where we're kind of going to viability. It's definitely viable if you have good rolls on gear. If you have a lot of charges and a lot of damage, it's definitely very viable. But that's only if you have really good rolls. So it's really not viable either unless you have a specific build built around it, which is kind of a very niche build or a very niche scenario. And then is it fun? Well, no, that's what kind of is for me. I think it's fun, but that's because it fits my playstyle. I like coming in, getting close to them, priming them with carrots, and then jumping back, and then shooting in real quick. So I jump in, hit a group, jump out, and then kind of dive back in. That's my playstyle, and that's what I like to do. However, if that's not your playstyle and that's not really what you're looking to do, it's not gonna be fun for you at all. You're gonna be trying to force those, and that's why I use the other build a lot more in this one, because I do have to kind of force those instances in, unfortunately. This build though is really good for dealing with a lot of groups, coming in, priming them, jumping out, and then coming back in and charge with it and killing them, and then getting a lot of armor back and also getting charges back. So for me it's fun, but I don't think it's gonna be fun for you. So overall I'm gonna say no, it's not good, and I wouldn't waste my coin in the store trying to get it if it does come through. However, if it drops in a Lego drop or whatever, or if you pick it up on a stronghold run, I would definitely keep it, because like I said, it's the only other detonator in your available. So I would definitely say for sure try and get it if you can. Let's see here. So yeah. In closing thoughts, I don't think it's a good idea for a build. I don't think making a build around it is going to be very viable either. And I don't think it's that fun unless you get really, really, really good rolls on it. So like I said, I've gotten really good rolls on mine. So it works out, but I don't think you're going to have a lot of fun with it, and I wouldn't recommend trying to blow all your coin trying to get a god roll one. So in closing thoughts, that's a no. But I'm going to end the video here. Undefeated Rescue, and I hope to see you guys out in Bastion.